Chapter 409. Entering the Forbidden Land 1. Rumble ... A shocking explosion rang out, and the entire immortal mansion was almost bombarded by this force and collapsed. And both Kang Tia and Zhao Linga, who were in the immortal mansion, were both shaken by the reverberating force and spat out blood. Kang Tia was fine because of his strong physical body. He only suffered some minor injuries. But Zhao Linga was much worse. This little girl was directly shocked into unconsciousness by that counter-quake force. Kid, in front of this seat, do you still want to escape? It's better to go with your dead ghost senior brother as a companion. Ha ha ha. ... The Blood-Sunk King's voice came out with a wild laugh that resounded throughout the Nine Heavens illusion realm. With his hands behind his back, he leisurely stepped in the Nine Heavens illusory realm, if he was in a no man's land, and the spatial storms around him couldn't even come close to him within 100 miles. This was the might of the overlord of the cultivation world. Even the dangerous Nine Heavens illusion realm could not stop the Blood-Sunk King. Kang Tia felt the threat of death. The Broken Dawn immortal mansion had suffered a huge and heavy blow. The formations inside were almost destroyed by as much as 30%, and its defenses were greatly reduced. The strength of the Blood-Sunk King caused Kang Tia to feel fear. -1 conjunction staged Seal King powerhouses could not help the Imperial Treasure artifact grade Breaking Dawn immortal mansion, but it was almost collapsed by a casual strike from the Blood-Sunk King. From this, it could be seen that a conjunction stage Seal King powerhouse was simply not something that a conjunction stage Seal King powerhouse could compare to, and the two sides simply weren't powerhouses at the same level. Kid, there's no time for emotions now. Hurry up and charge in. Emperor Dan roared. At this time, he was also very anxious. He was entangled with Kang Tia's fate. Once Kang Tia fell, he wouldn't be able to survive either. Boom. Hearing Emperor Don's loud shout, Kang Tia shook his dizzy head, and then transported his entire body's true essence, urging the Great Formation in the Broken Dawn immortal mansion, and continued towards the center of the Nine Heavens illusory realm *******. The Blood-Sunk King, who followed him, smiled coldly and said, Broken Dawn immortal mansion, worthy of being the residence of the dawn-breaking scattered immortal. It seems that if you want to break this immortal mansion with a single strike, you will still need to use an Imperial Treasure weapon to do so. After speaking, the Blood-Sunk King's surroundings flashed with light, and above his head, a swirling blood-colored poisonous dragon drill suddenly appeared, piercing through the layers of emptiness like a meteor, carrying a dragon scroll vortex force as it blasted towards Kang Tia's back. The speed of the scarlet poison dragon drill was so fast that it caught up with the Broken Dawn immortal mansion in a short while, and then in a shocking explosion, it fiercely blasted on top of the Broken Dawn immortal mansion. Immediately, Kang Tia felt his 5 internal organs tremble, and his throat could not help but sweeten as a mouthful of fresh blood violently spurted out. Immediately after, all of the formations in the Dawnbreaker immortal mansion collapsed. A large defensive formation shattered under the attack of the poison dragon drill, that powerful force, causing the immortal mansion to be broken open, and Kang Tia's entire person was rushed out by the huge force. That broken immortal mansion, which then turned into a ray of light and scurried into Kang Tia's dungeon. Kid, hurry up and wake up. There is no time for you to get dizzy now. Hurry up and rush in. It's only a little bit short. Emperor Dan yelled. Kang Tia shook his head and looked at a swirling spatial zone not far ahead. He was filled with shock. There is the center of the Nine Heavens illusionary realm. When you go in, you might die. But if you don't go in, you'll die even faster. Emperor Dan drank. Kang Tia looked back at the Blood-Sunk King, who was gradually approaching, and was instantly aghast in his heart, knowing that what Emperor Dan said was the truth. He might die if he entered the Nine Heavens illusionary realm, but if he didn't, he would immediately die at the hands of the Blood-Sunk King. This was no longer a choice. Kang Chia clenched his teeth and charged towards the vortex zone in front of him. However, at this moment, a terrifying force swept in, carrying an aura that made Kang Chia feel death, and ruthlessly blasted at his body. Want to go in? It's a pity that you don't have the chance anymore. Karma, the Blood-Sunk King's sneering voice came out, but Kang Chia had already passed out, his consciousness falling into darkness. In the midst of the chaotic space, Kang Chia was blasted out 1,000 feet, away by the Blood-Sunk King's blow, blood and flesh flying, staining the void purple. Even Kang Chon's fleshly body, which had already reached the level of an extreme treasure artifact, couldn't help but crumble at this moment, purple blood erupting all around his body. His white bones were white, and his injuries were grievous, and his consciousness, too, completely fell into a coma. Surprisingly, there is still some breath. This talent is really powerful. Humph. Suddenly, a sound of surprise came out, not far away. The Blood-Sunk King came with his hands in the air. His divine thoughts swept over the unconscious Kang Chia. A trace of jealousy flashed in his eyes. Also a genius, through the previous strike, he naturally verified the terrifying nature of Kang Chon's talent, which made him, as a genius, extremely jealous. And this trace of jealousy finally spawned into a majestic killing intent. Genius, heaven envies geniuses. I, the Blood-Sunk King, love to strangle geniuses. The Blood-Sunk King said grimly, a cold light flickering in his eyes, and the murderous aura. He forced his way towards Kang Chia step by step, his stern gaze filled with killing intent. Just as he was about to deliver the final blow to Kang Chia, who had long since passed out, suddenly opened his eyes. Subsequently, a huge aura erupted from Kang Chon's body, and the strength of this aura reached the level of a harmonization stage seal king. The Blood-Sunk King was shocked by Kang Chon's sudden outburst of aura, and could not help but stop in his tracks, staring intently at Kang Chia, who had opened his eyes. At this moment, Kang Chia seemed like a different person, his deep violet eyes radiating a vicissitude of aura. Kid, the old man has lost a lot this time. Without 100 years, I'm afraid that it will be difficult to awaken. The road in the future can only rely on yourself. Kang Chia muttered to himself, saying inexplicable words. You're not that kid. Who the hell are you? Not far away, the Blood-Sunk King stared at Kang Chia with an incomparably grave expression. For some reason, the Kang Chia at this moment made him feel a hint of danger. Although the person in front of him was still Kang Chia, from the different aura emanating from that body, the Blood-Sunk King understood that the person in front of him was no longer Kang Chia. Kang Chia looked at the Blood-Sunk King and indifferently said, "Young man, make your move. Let me see the true power of a combined stage seal Emperor powerhouse." As the words fell, hot flames violently appeared around Kang Chia. These flames tightly wrapped around Kang Chia, dressing him up as a dazzling sun. The Blood-Sunk King's pupils suddenly shrunk, and he said gruffly, "What a powerful fire arcana. But unfortunately, if you want this seat to retreat based on this alone, then you're underestimating this seat." With that said, the poison dragon drill above his head reappeared, transforming into a whirling blood-colored divine dragon that impacted. Around the blood-colored divine dragon, two types of arcana were added. One was the arcana of killing, and the other was the arcana of the soul. And the two arcana were combined together to exert a terrifying power. Kang Chon's eyes were filled with gravity as he violently shouted lowly, "Burning sky destruction." The boundless sea of fire instantly covered the sky, and in the midst of the sea of fire, a fire dragon rushed up into the sky, meeting the blood-colored divine dragon and ruthlessly colliding with it. At once, a series of large explosions occurred throughout the sky. The sea of fire was boundless, scorching hot like magma, burning the surrounding emptiness to the point of collapse. The blood-colored divine dragon roared with unparalleled might, No one knew that a fierce battle was going on in this intimidating nine heavens illusion realm. At this moment, Kang Chia didn't know what had changed and became exceptionally powerful. His powerful cultivation fluctuations had reached the peak level of a harmonization stage seal king, and under the amplitude of Kang Chia's hegemonic blood, the strength he exerted even reached the level of a harmonization stage sealed king, and he was no less powerful than the opposite Blood-Sunk King. However, the Blood-Sunk King was, after all, a peak combined stage seal emperor powerhouse, and with his strong cultivation, as well as the power of knowing the two types of arcane mysteries, he immediately crushed the Sea of Fire. Kang Chia's complexion was slightly frowned. His face was a little bitter as he sighed. Worthy of being the poisoned sex and Sun King. Once he reaches the conjunction stage, his strength is surprisingly so powerful. If it wasn't for the fact that my old man's soul power is comparable to a loose immortal's, coupled with the power of this brat's Kang Chia hegemony blood, I'm afraid that he wouldn't even be an opponent to one of his shots. Having said that, however, Kang Chia did not panic. After the Sea of Fire dispersed, he actually raised his hand to make a heaven-escaping hand, a terrifying purple golden palm. Under the huge true essence enhancement, it covered 1,000 miles in a radius, like a momentum that covered the sky.